if God is unchangeable,
Mm-hmm.
how can Jesus be of that God?
Mm-hmm.
Because Jesus is a total turnabout.
Mm-hmm.
It's a total change. It's 180 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So the disciples are like, okay, Jesus, well, what about the old law?
Mm-hmm.
And Jesus said, the new law is love your neighbor as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's the golden rule. That's the new law.
Mm-hmm.
So the laws of the Ten Commandments and things like this aren't even like the focus.
Mm-hmm.
So if God is immutable, why would God Jehovah have a child named Jesus who's going to contradict everything the motherfucker says?
Maybe he's the god of bipolar.
I think that's pretty evident. Look at Israel today.
Oh, ooh, careful.
No, if their God is telling them to kill a bunch of Palestinians
Mm-hmm.
because it's Canaan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you look at the map, where is Canaan?
Mm-hmm.
Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
Who was living in Canaan when the Jews invaded, when Abraham and the Jews invaded and stole it from the Canaanites? Who was living there? The Palestinians,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
They were living there.
Mm-hmm.
There was like Babylon, and you had all these different cultures who came together. So the Jews went in there, basically raped and pillaged and killed everybody and said, okay, this is the land of Judah, or Jewishness.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically planted their flag like we did on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And they just murdered everybody. Of course, don't get me started on Muhammad, because Muhammad fucking slaughtered anybody who wouldn't become Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, it's all the same God.
Yeah.
Allah, Jehovah, these jealous gods who must be the only God worshipped.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. That's where the hatred comes in. That's where the we're better than you, and what do they call it in psychology?
A god complex?
No, outgrouping. This is our in group,
Mm-hmm.
okay? So like white people is an in group, black people is an in group, Chinese people are an in group, and they view other people from other groups as suspect, right? Because that's called outgrouping. Well, this is our group, and then that's their group. But the whole Old Testament and the whole religious phenomenon of the big, what is it, the big three, Judeo-Christian religions, they're all based upon outgrouping.
Yeah.
Aren't they? Okay, these people are unworthy of this beautiful, lush Canaan. This is the promised land that you can go and take. Oh my fucking God. I mean, if that's where we're going to start all this shit, then I can't even believe that we've survived this long. Can you even believe that we've survived this long? It's fucking ridiculous. So now, where was I? Back to Yaldabaoth. So Yaldabaoth is Jehovah, okay? Then Jesus comes along and he's like, dee, dee, dee. I'm going to save you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Who's he saving us from? Jehovah!
That's right. That's right.
Jesus came to save us from Jehovah, who's basically the devil.
Jehovah's like the ultimate evil Girl Scout troop leader.
Something like that.
She's like, I want you to go sell cookies here, but if you see already bitches selling cookies there, beat the shit out of them.
Basically, yeah. It's like that movie with that one Melissa McCarthy. Do you remember that movie?
That movie was funny.
That was good. The Boss.
I like that. That was
great.
so
I love
fucking
Melissa
funny.
McCarthy.
Oh God, I want some Girl Scout cookies. God.
Yeah, but they don't have sugar free yet, so they blow. Girl Scouts blow. They totally blow. We live in a diabetic world, and what, Girl Scouts aren't, diabetics aren't allowed to have cookies? Come on, you guys.
They're still learning how to girl boss.
Okay. So, going back to it. So, Jesus is a new thing, right? He's like, oh, yeah. I'm going to teach you how to do all these miracles. You're going to be able to do it. Anything I do, you'll do and more. I go to prepare a place for you. Where does he go in to prepare a place for us? Is it with Jehovah? I don't think so, because Jehovah hates everybody.
That guy shits the bed.
Okay, that works. And so, the Sumerians, not the Sumerians, but the Samaritans, right? The Good Samaritan. So you've got they hate Gentiles.
Mm-hmm.
So all the Jewish people back in those days were like, you know, the guy was on the side of the road. He'd been robbed,
Mm-hmm.
and these Jewish people walked by, completely ignored him. These other people walked by. Did you lose something?
I'm looking for just a little dump tray, little ashtray.
Here, why don't you use this?
Okay.
I'm not relinquishing my ashtray here. Can you come get this? I can't teleport it over there to the yet. So. Okay.
We're still practicing our teleportation abilities.
Yeah, so that's what that's all about there.
Yeah. If you close your eyes,
Okay.
it did teleport.
It did. I closed my eyes.
See?
Everybody in the viewing audience.
And I did too.
Okay, so it was the Good Samaritan that saved the guy,
Mm-hmm.
but he wasn't Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're talking about Jehovah.
Yeah.
So Jesus comes along, and he's like, okay, die and save the world. What is the law? What do we do with the old law?
Mm-hmm.
The old law is basically, he didn't put a whole lot of effort into that,
Mm-hmm.
but he's like pounding on the golden rule. And I will tell you, and when I studied world religions in my bachelor's, there's at least 10 religions that talk about the golden rule.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus didn't invent it.
Yeah.
But he was reiterating it, right? He was bringing it up.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what happened from there. Now, you ask who the Father is,
Mm-hmm.
the true Father of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who do you think that guy is? So you study Gnosticism. And Gnosticism, it talks about this thing called the monad, which in Hinduism would equate to Brahman. Not Brahma, the fucking impish trickster god, right? Brahma. There's Brahma and Vishnu and then Shiva, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Brahma and Vishnu are both trickster gods. You know, one day they were arguing, who's the better god? Then a pillar of fire just comes out of nowhere, and out steps Shiva, and he said, neither one of you. I am. Right? Right? So, I mean, that's... Right?
It's like this is some random guy just coming out of nowhere, just taking a big fat shit on the both of you. You're like, you both suck.
And that's why the Vaishnavites and the Shivites are basically at war with each other. They're not at war with each other, but they don't like each other much.
The original Team Edward versus Team Jacob.
Something like that. Okay, so gather my thoughts. So Brahma, not Brahma, Brahman, okay? And Joseph Campbell says it very eloquently. Brahman lays in the primordial ocean, and he has a lotus grows out of his navel,
Mm-hmm.
and it opens, and a universe is created, and then it recedes, and then a universe is destroyed,
Mm-hmm.
and then again, back and forth. So Brahman is the god of basically everything,
Mm-hmm.
the whole universe. Not like one people, one specifically chosen people,
Mm-hmm.
but just the whole entire universe.
Mm-hmm.
So he created Shiva. And he also created Vishnu, and he also created Brahma, but it just proves that he's got a sense of humor. The monad is... Monad and Barbello are basically the male and female, yes, I said female, the male and female aspects of the Father. And Jesus never said God, did he? He never said, I need to go talk to God. He's like, I'm going to go talk to my Father.
Mm-hmm.
Because his Father was the monad.
Mm-hmm.
So how it goes in Gnosticism is you've got the monad, and out of the monad comes these aeons, and they're aspects of the Father.
Mm-hmm.
You know, aspects, like personality traits. Well, then Sophia in Gnosticism creates Yaldabaoth, and what the word Yaldabaoth means is ignorance, right? Because she created him in ignorance, and then she was horrified at him, so she threw him out into an outer universe where he created his own universe, and he just started creating shit out of ignorance. He didn't have a daddy. He just had his mama who threw him away. Can you imagine? It evokes one's compassion, right? So then he started creating all of his own little demonic gods who are all based and born out of ignorance. And what is the first thing he says to these guys? He said, I am a jealous God and there are no other gods before me. He says it, and the gods that he's just created are going, who's this guy trying to kid? He's saying, I am the only God, there are no other gods before me. So they're like going, there's other gods. There's other gods. He's lying to us right now. So the whole thing starts in it's going to implode on him, right? He creates the good side. He creates the bad side. He creates good and evil, and then he pits humans against each other.
Yeah.
And that's the God of the Old Testament. That's what's happening. The monad, the father, okay, so when the Yaldabaoth was created, thrown into the outer universe, guess who was born right after that?
Jesus.
An aeon was born that didn't exist before in answer to what this motherfucker was about to start doing. So the monad already knew when this guy was created what was going to happen. So then Christ and the Holy Spirit are twin flames, and all the aeons are male and female pairs, and they're all... Are you bored? Am I boring?
No.
I'm just kidding.
The fuck?
The fuck?
The fuck?
So, Jesus is created, and his counterpart, Aeon, is the Holy Spirit. And that ends up being basically Christ and Gabriel, the angel Gabriel. Because when Christ descended down through the Demiurge's universe to get to the humans to save the humans, he appeared as Gabriel to the archons, who are the angels of this realm, which would be like Michael, Uriel, Ariel, and some of these guys. And I could tell you from personal experience that Uriel and Ariel are dickheads. They're the same person, and they end up being Lord Vishnu, who is Satan. So, do you have any questions at this point? Okay. Interestingly enough, the Christ, Holy Spirit, Aeon, is actually Enlil, the storm god, Thor, who came from Odin. So then in this position, Odin would be the monad, and Enki, from the Sumerian, claims that he is the heir of Nibiru, but actually Enlil is the heir of Nibiru. And he says, well, he can't be the heir of Nibiru because he's younger than me. And his father's like, too bad, so sad, because this guy's this. But if you align them and you overlap all of these different religions, you come right down to the Norse gods. And that's not racism, that's just the truth. You've got a father and you've got two sons, and they're half brothers, and one of them hates the other one. What do you think?
Yeah.
What's on your mind? You look like you're thinking about something.
Because I was thinking. I was like, what was their half brothers? Like, it's like, do they share their dad's DNA or their mom's DNA? And in Norse mythology, I know they don't share, they share their mom's DNA, they don't share their dad's DNA, if I remember my Norse mythology correctly. Because Loki's half god, half ice giant, and then his brother is full god, but I think his mom is the one who was like, okay, ice giant. So I think that was the one where she was the one. She was like, okay, let me get with Ice Giant. I don't remember. It's hazy for me. There's so many different fucking stories in the world. Anyways, what the fuck is my point? I don't know what my point. Wait.
Well, that they're half brothers, and who is the? Were they going through the patriarchal lineage or the matriarchal? Is that what you're asking? Matriarch.
I was just thinking out loud.
Cool. Well, I like it. I mean, that's what makes this a podcast, is that you're thinking.
That's right.
You know? And from what I recall from reading Sitchin's 12th Planet, which there's a lot there, oh my god. There's so much, you really have to read it 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 times to really download and remember all that information. But the mothers, they had separate mothers. So Anu bred with Tiamat, who's supposedly a dragon. And Tiamat, they had Enki.
Why did he bred with the dragon?
I don't know, dude. I know that we had a guest in our home a couple of years ago, and she was studying the I Ching. And she said what she learned was that the Chinese culture and the Japanese culture, the Asian culture, believes that they came from dragons, that they descended from dragons. And if you watch Ancient Aliens on the History Channel, or you just start learning this stuff, you'll find out that all of the emperors of China believed that they were descendants of the original dragon. Right? Was the dragon like a spaceship, or was the dragon a dragon? Right? Like a real dragon. Well, Yaldabaoth is a dragon, right? And she said that Chinese people and the Asian people believe that they're dragons. So that leads one to ask, so Enki's Asian, right? Enki is Asian because he's half dragon. But after Anu overthrew Alalu, who I'm supposing was a dragon person, they kicked his ass down to Mars. They said, fuck you, motherfucker, you're out of here. And they probably kicked out a bunch of if Alalu was Asian and basically strip mining the planet, turning their land to desert. I didn't say that, did I? Turning their land to a wasteland of desert, which is what's happening in China today. I don't know if there's any correlation, but I just find it interesting. And then they go to Mars, and Mars, they say, used to look like Earth. But now it's just like a desert. So what the fuck happened there?
Somebody partied too hard?
Huh?
Somebody partied too hard?
Maybe. Terraforming? God only knows. Do dragons prefer a desert land?
Maybe. They're cold-blooded.
Exactly. So then Alalu makes his way to Earth, and he calls up, ring, 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 ring. Hello, are you there? Answer the phone for me. Hello? He says, I found gold on Earth. Since Nibiru takes 3,600 years to go around the sun, and they are one of our planets, and it's within our own solar system, it just takes longer for them to go around. Then when they get close to the sun, they're just going to burn it. So they needed the gold. So Alalu, and I think I said this in the last video, Alalu called up Anu and he's like, well, can I come back and be the leader of Nibiru because I found gold on Earth? And Anu's like, no, fuck you. Get the fuck out of here. But go send us the gold anyway. So at this time, after Anu kicks Alalu out of Nibiru, because he's just a goddamn troublemaker, then Enki's like, all of a sudden, half dragon, right? I want to be the leader of Nibiru. Right?
Yeah.
Fuck you. I don't like your rule. I'm going to be a better leader than you. Well, what did Loki do with Odin? Loki wanted to be the king of Asgard. He was jealous of his brother Thor, who was the heir. And so,
This is gonna launch into a whole different tangent if we go into it. Why was Odin such an asshole in his Norse mythology stories?
I don't know.
Like why is that part of Viking culture? Like, because another culture was very trying to use the right word. I don't know if primal. I don't know if primal is the right word, but it was hardcore. Let's just say that.
Well, I mean, that's what we're told.
Yeah.
I mean, we're also told that
That's true.
Viking women were all the skeletons that they found with all this weaponry and stuff like that. They're just like, oh, those are men.
Yeah,
And now recently, in the last 20 years, they're going, oh wait, maybe we should have done the DNA because all of these female skeletons are buried with swords and all of this shit, and they're like going, wait a minute, we got some scary bitches.
Why is this man built like a woman?
Right?
for what, 30 plus years?
Like, how did she get those big old hips? Like, what the fuck?
He had a nice ass.
I mean, can we not see the difference between a man and a woman at this? And they're archaeologists. I mean, you have one job. Just one job.
If I could time travel, oh my god, I would bonk so many monks over the head, and I'll be like, stop, translate this correctly.
Well,
because I would love to see what original Viking stories were before outside of a religious lens, Christian lens, and like Hades and Persephone. I would love to see what these original myths were outside of like what a bunch of old fucking horny Christian men with no pussy would, excuse me, did I say that? Yeah, I said, would say if there was. I want to see what it looked like, but accurately. Like, I don't want to hear like the Christian fan fiction of these stories and mythologies. I want to hear what the actual real story was.
Right, but with archaeologists, I don't think it even has to do with Christianity. Archaeologists are generally not driven by religion.
Oh, no. I'm not talking about Christian archaeology. I'm talking about the original myth stories that we have passed down from Norse mythology. Because the monks are the ones that sat down and translated all of it.
And
and there you go. And they put it through Christian ideas.
Yeah, it's Christian lens.
God.
So how can you even trust any of it?
I know.
And then archaeologists, they're totally going off of this misogynistic. Well, women, are supposed to be found with bowls and things to make bread in. We're totally sure that and I mean obviously the clothes are completely
no bowls.
God
must be a man,
right? Exactly. So, but as far as the Sumerian information that comes from Zechariah section 12 planet, which I've read only like maybe 2 or 3 times, which is not enough. I need to read it again. It was Enlil, Enki, and Anu. And even if you look at the Tuatha De Danann, who are from Ireland, who are the gods that came to the earth in a cloud, Tuatha De Danann, these are the children of Anu. Right? So going back all the way back to 450,000 years ago, that's how long the Sumerians have been here, experimenting with human DNA, making humans, and all this stuff. They are the Elohim spoken of that we spoke about last time in Genesis. Let us make man in our own image. So, Enlil, Enki, Anu, and then what do? They came to the planet, and it's been nothing but outgrouping and infighting ever since.
I'm so tired of it.
It's exhausting.
It is.
It really is. It really, really is. I can't tell you how sick we all are of it. Anyway, did we flush that out?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Or you're just bored and tired?
Tired?
Did you do a lot of readings today at work?
I'm just tired in general.
Are you?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are.
That's true. Being compassionate can get draining.
I think compassion is one of the hardest jobs. Most necessary.
I love it. I love it so much. I love compassion. And I love what I do. I want to trade it for the world. especially with the demographic on mental health, it's very satisfying.
Mhm.
Because especially it's so satisfying because it's like when you get to heal your own demographic, it's like you get to heal yourself with each person you heal, and I love it. So it's like imagine for me, Swami and I are two different demographics, as you can obviously see. Or can't see, I don't fucking know. I don't know if you're reading this in Braille. Anyways, this when it comes to demographics, um it's like you get to my brain keeps fading in and out, so bear with me.
Okay.
Just take
Is that all the drugs you did today?
Yes. Yes. Oh my god. You see me. You finally see me. Yes. It's so good to get somebody who finally sees you for who you are. Yes. But
He doesn't do drugs.
we'll leave that in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, this is I think this will resonate more with healers than any kind of other demographic that may or may not watch our fucking podcast or little show. There's it's like when you get to finally heal the people that look like you, whether they're queer or they're straight or they're white males or they're white women or they're black women or black males or whatever the fuck you're looking for that looks like you. And when you heal the people that look like you and they have the issues that you've gone through, even though you maybe, let's say you've already healed the majority of it and you've healed enough of it to where you've gone to the point to where you can now help them properly and successfully. It's like imagine, I'm gonna use a metaphor. Imagine your 80% of your body is burned and you healed 80% of it back, but that 20% is still burned. And so every person that you heal, it's like that extra percent that gets added to your healing. And so it's like, let's say you heal a group of demographics that looks like you, or you help them heal themselves. It's like that extra 5% gets healed back on your body, and it's nice because every person you heal yourself in turn, and it's really nice. What do you think, Swami? Do you agree? And if you don't, that's okay.
I think you're actually. I mean, I think you're absolutely right in that. Healers end up being the Drano, like I said. Healers are the most clear people here.
Mm-hmm.
And so when the world is troubled and they're convoluted and their energy field is dirty and their minds are full, then a lot of that stuff goes to be cleared through the healers who are existing.
Yeah.
In that area.
Yeah.
And so it's like healers just never finish clearing.
Mm-hmm.
But all these people just feel better. So it's like if all the other drains in the shower are clogged up,
Mm-hmm.
it's the healer that's going to have to clear all that karma anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why we're here. And a lot of healers who may not know and who may be watching this, a lot of them, if not all of them, are angels. They're angelic beings who've walked into the human form, and they're here to heal the earth. They're here to heal the world. And so that's why we're doing this podcast, because we want to share this information. Knowledge is power. And when people find out, look, there's no original sin. What there is some jacked up, hopped up, insecure piece of shit who raped Eve, who was Adam and Eve were not the first people here. There were lots of people before them, but they were the first procreation humans.
I wish I had this in high school, this information. Oh my god.
It's just, but it's healing because you realize, okay, well, you didn't do anything wrong and you really aren't a sinner, okay? It was Enki who raped Eve, right? And as a professor, my calling is to share as much of what I've learned. Continue to learn, continue to make the correlations between them, and then bring them to light for other people who are like us, who are seeking, and they've got to have these answers. A lot of them are depressed on antidepressants and things because they can't get the answers that they need, and it just, you know, it just works from there, and that's the calling.